Canal. Nice to see everyone again. Some of you I've known from past courses, some of you new. Nice to meet you. Hope you enjoyed my introduction. This is my family. I always fail to mention them. I have three wonderful boys. My 17-year-old happens to be bilingual, very proud of his culture and his heritage. He was from a previous marriage where I grew a love for my culture, and his dad and family really helped me to do that. My second husband, Jason, is half Colombian and half German, but he does not speak the language. So, with our little ones, we don't speak the language at home, and I'm so sad to say that Tristan, my 10-year-old, and my lovely little 8-year-old boy, Devin, are not bilingual. This is something that I hope to fix. I hope that there's a way that I can fix this. Being a bilingual teacher, to me, it's a tough thing to say, but in all actuality, I've known other bilingual teachers with the same problem because they marry people that do not speak the Spanish language at home. They do not teach the Spanish language to their children. Hopefully, I can change this. My educational background is that I grew up in Corpus Christi. I attended high school there. My first language may have been Spanish, more like Spanglish. I lost my language as a child, though. Growing up in Corpus Christi in a monolingual environment, I became monolingual myself. I could understand some Spanish, but I wasn't fluent. I couldn't speak it. I was embarrassed to speak it. But when I moved on to UTPA, where I fell in love and married my first husband, whose family was from Mexico, I grew a love for my culture and my heritage. I went so far as to change my degree to Inter-American Studies, which is much like Latin American Studies, where I learned the Spanish language. I was taking Literatura Española and moved from a C to a B to an A. I'm very proud of that. So UTPA is where I graduated from in the year 2000. Now it is known as UTRGV. Why did I choose bilingual education? Well, upon taking my last course that summer before graduating, I took a second language acquisition class. In that course, I met a group of people that were attaining their emergency teaching certification. I learned more about the program, and because of the love for my culture and my language and how I had actually acquired my language back, I had lost it. I had become monolingual, and then learning about how the brain is able to develop that language again. I wanted to share that with students. So that's what I did. Now I'm 19 years and going strong. My experience in teaching is a total of 19 years. I taught 4 years in Edinburgh Consolidated ISD as a first grade teacher. Very early exit, because when we would move the students on to second grade, the teachers would say they're too Spanish. I was teaching the children to read in their home language, and they wanted them ready, up and going in the English language in second grade. I moved on to PSJA ISD, where they had a dual language program. I was trained under the Gomez and Gomez model. I'm so glad that I learned all of those strategies because I currently use them in the program I'm serving now. I was at PSJ for 8 years. I moved to the Houston area and I taught 1 year in Conroe ISD. For that year, they did things very different. It wasn't early exit. It wasn't dual language like we had taught before. It was actually a flip-flop where if 1 week you were teaching one language, language arts, say English language arts. In the afternoon, you had Spanish math, Spanish science, Spanish social studies. The following week, if you were teaching Spanish language arts, you were teaching in the afternoon English math, English science, English social studies. I really think it was a very well balanced way to teach the children concurrently. As Ms. Escamilla had stated, teaching the English and English and Spanish languages concurrently was being done very well there. After leaving there, I moved on to a higher paying district called Aldine ISD in the Houston area. I taught first, second, and third grade. They were early exit. I received awards there for moving children out of the program. I was very proud at the time, but now I'm not so proud. Um, it's not effective. I saw the students becoming monolingual. They were losing their language. I had taught them English, the English language, so well that they had forgotten about their home language. But happily, I am currently serving students, English language learners and Spanish language learners in New Braunfels ISD as a third grade Spanish language arts teacher in a dual language program, and very happy to be doing so. The degree that I'm pursuing is a master's in curriculum and instruction and bilingual education, and hopefully I'll be graduating this fall. Upon graduating, I'd really like to teach at the junior college level. I'd like to teach some education courses and ESL to students coming in to take English as a second language. My father was an instructor at the junior college level, and I hope to follow in his footsteps. What does biliteracy mean to me? Well, biliteracy is, to me, means more than just bilingualism, which is speaking two languages. Dr. Izquierdo mentioned the two hands-on learning labs at the university. The first one that she spoke of there at UTEP was where students are able to research and work with students to see what the children are not getting in public schools. And the second dual language lab is to practice the teaching of the English and Spanish language concurrently, she mentioned. This tells me that the traditional bilingual education models are not proving to be effective. It's not about just being bilingual, but it's biliterate too. To learn to read and write concurrently, as Dr. Izquierdo stated, they will academically become biliterate. Kathy Escamilla stated that we must serve the students because they're becoming the majority throughout the U.S. schools. I believe so. We can't continue to serve them in these traditional bilingual programs that exit them from these bilingual programs, but we should capitalize on their bilingualism to better serve our global economy. We must make them readers and writers and to think critically in both languages. And we've got to stop serving our students in these monolingual environments so that they lose their first language and acquire the second one and don't even recall their home language. This is what happened to me as growing up in Corpus Christi in a monolingual environment. And I believe very strongly that we've got to be teaching these two languages and teach these children to become actual biliterate so they grow up to be well-balanced bilinguals. Thank you so much.